Welcome. You're listening to the Rotten River Pursuits podcast. Join our epic pro staff around the Sonic Campfire for stories and adventures from our eastern mountains to the Chesapeake Salt. Let our highs and lows inspire you to take to the outdoors.
All right, welcome back, everybody, to the Sonic Campfire, the home of all things epic in the outdoors.
I like how you say that.
I like how I say it too, buddy.
It's great.
We got another good one for you, boys. I'm pretty excited, but before we get too deep into it, on the Rotten River Pursuit podcast, around a Sonic Campfire, I'm Ryan. Let's see who all's here tonight.
This is Dave.
I'm Steve.
I'm Will.
And I'm Uncle Buck.
Ah, gentlemen. This is going to be a good night.
This is in Uncle Buck's backyard, allegedly.
Well, I mean, it is. It absolutely is. And I might have to try to keep him back off the mic just a little bit. I mean, he's going to be all over this. So our guest tonight, guys, we got Barrett Satterlee, and he's from Camoflix. And we got Barrett on the line with us right now. Barrett, how you doing?
What's up, gentlemen?
Hey, Barrett. Hey, Barrett.
Good evening, Barrett.
So
I'm excited to be here tonight. I've always enjoyed your podcast, and I'm looking forward to being on it.
that's good to hear, Barrett. Thank you very much.
Long-time listener, first-time caller.
There it is.
There it is.
That's great, man. Welcome.
Well, Barrett, one of the big things we wanted to make sure we got to tonight was talking about this Camoflix website that you've got. And we're going to get to that. We're going to be talking all about it, how people can find it, what it really is in a nutshell, and what kind of stuff you guys are putting out. But before we get to that, one of the things that you're aware that we like to do here on the podcast is get to really know the individuals that we're talking to, Barrett. So if you could give us like a 50,000-foot view of who you are, where you're from, and what it is you are obsessed with in the outdoors.
Well, I am from Southwest Missouri. I grew up quail hunting with my father and my brother, and we duck hunted as well, but we kind of we didn't do a lot of calling and decoying. We just kind of, sat by a pond, shot them until it got light and went and quail hunted.
It's kind of easy to do when there's a billion ducks.
Well, we went through the time, though. We went through the time where, you had the point system, and y'all remember this, I'm sure, where, the green heads were 25 and then the hens were 100. So you shoot a hen and you're done. We went through that time, but then we also went through the good times as well.
Yeah.
And, so I grew up doing that. Then I went to college in Dallas, and I just hooked up with a bunch of buddies that we would go to Lake Proctor and Lake Fork and over in East Texas, different places around Athens. And, man, we just had the greatest time killing ducks. And I just got completely addicted to it, and came back and I went into the family business and basically got into into the sport before it just went absolutely nuts, and we were able to find some property, and now that's what I do. And I'm also a passionate archery hunter. I hunt whitetails and elk every year. I love doing that as well. Very cool.
Well, I mean, you covered a lot of ground there between Missouri, where you've now become Phil's best friend, and all the stuff you did down in Texas. Did you get to do any fishing when you were down in Texas?
That is an interesting question, because yes, I did. I fished Lake Fork and Ray Roberts a lot, and probably too much. I probably should have spent more time in class. But we would go fish. But the problem with fishing with me, and I don't know what the deal is, I just have never been very good at it.
Well, you're in good company.
I was going to say, yeah.
Yeah, I'd love to bass fish, and I would go fish tournaments, and I would come in with, one 18-inch bass or something like that, whatever the slot or the minimum length was, and I would think that I'd hammered them because nobody. And there'd be 28-pound stringers out there, and so I just realized, I was fishing in the spring, and my beautiful wife Shannon, who's from Atlanta, and I met in school. She came back with me, and when we had kids, I knew that if I was going to have to give one or the other up between bass fishing and hunting, and I was a much better hunter than I was bass fisherman. So I sold the boat and raised my kids.
Hey, Barrett, I got a secret for you.
What's that?
Night crawlers.
Night crawlers, yeah.
Strike indicators and night crawlers and bobbers.
Yeah, and it's funny because you go down to Lake Fork and you're familiar with it, I can tell, and there's all these people, they're fishing with shiners down there, and I would always hold my nose up, and then as I was leaving after being skunked, I would look over and they were talking about the fish that they reeled in. I'm like, why is this such a big deal to me not to use those shiners? So, but I am hard headed like that. I mean, I'm not judgmental of other people, what they do, but I'll set a limited or a standard that I'll do, and then that's what I'll do, and so it's just me. I mean, it's the outdoors for all of us. I mean, we pick something we like, and that's what we do, and I just never fished with live bait, but I should have.
No, you're absolutely right. And I'm joking because I got like 4 guys, 5 guys at any one time, and they're pitching everything. There's all kinds of, we joke with all the different names of lures that are out there and stuff. And I'm like, you guys remember when we used to fish with night crawlers?
Yeah. And the red and white bobbers.
You remember? Yeah. So, no, I get it, man. It's crazy.
Barry, you want a good time? Hop on over to Grand Lake and fish those white cats with jugs.
It's funny because my family's been in this area a long time, and I've been going down there since I was a kid, and so I'm very familiar with Grand Lake. In fact, when I do fish now, that's where I fish. I've never jug fished in my entire life, although I have a lot of buddies in college that are big fans.
It's a good day. You just put some live bait and
throw a jug out there.
Throw a jug out there and wait.
He just said he doesn't do live bait,
but give it a try. I mean,
I'm gonna give it a try. I have no moral issue with it. I just have never done it.
No, now you're getting pressure from Uncle Buck. And
it's more fun than a trot line, that's for sure.
You can throw a crankbait on the end of a jug, I'm sure. You just ain't gonna catch it.
I'm not gonna make that whopper plop or plop, is it?
It's not gonna whop or plop.
No,
either one.
My wife's going to look in the refrigerator and see a bunch of night crawlers and shiners, and he's going to say, "What is this?"
Yeah, buddy.
Just blame it on us. It's okay.
Them crazy PA boys.
Well, something else I'd like to go back to, Barrett, you mentioned earlier was when you came back from school in Texas, moved back home, you said getting back into the family business. If you don't mind, what is the family business?
We'd been in the mechanical contracting business. My great grandfather came down in 1892 from Kansas City as a pipe fitter and bought into a company, and my family's had it since 1892.
Wow!
And so my brother and I are the 4th generation in it now, and we haven't gone broke yet, so I guess we're still rolling.
There you go.
Right there in Joplin, the company is.
Yeah, in Joplin.
That's incredible. That's awesome.
This is like, I wish you could see Phil. He hasn't been there in probably 3 months, and
I'm grinning like
giddy.
a Cheshire cat over here.
He's all jacked up. Yeah.
Well,
it's
all the kins back there.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
hey, look, boys, this is God's country here.
Amen. Thanks, Barrett.
Look, down there in the hills, beautiful, no doubt about it. Around Cassville and you get on down into Rowan River, beautiful. And then you get over into Kansas and you got those big bucks and you got all those ducks coming down. I mean, it's hard to beat.
Oh, you're killing me. Yeah, we have. No, we don't.
No, we don't. We don't have that so much. But
No, you don't.
The reason I really wanted to make sure we brought that point up was what we're about to talk about here in a little bit with what you're doing with Camoflix. That's not your full-time gig. You're still working a job, right? So you're doing the stuff you've got a passion for. You're finding time. You're making time to do this, right?
It's for the love.
Right.
That's exactly right. It was an idea I had. It's, knowing, my partner, Jace Robertson from Duck Dynasty, I have known him before they had Duck Dynasty, and I've hunted with the Duck Commander crew quite a bit before then. And I just developed a passion for filming hunts, and it just brought a new level of excitement to a duck hunt. I mean, it's hard enough to, get a blind brushed in properly, set the decoys correctly, get everything right, make the call sound right, make the right sound at the right time, and then bring that group of ducks into the hole that you've laid out in the decoys. But then to capture that on film is like the pinnacle of it.
Right. That's a whole nother level.
And after hunting with those boys, I realized how hard it was because I feel like they're the best. And after seeing how difficult it is to get that footage, it just kind of became a passion of mine. And with the digital age coming up, and the fact that people don't really watch DVDs anymore, they're watching stuff online. I thought, you know what? YouTube's there, and they're great. There's nothing wrong with YouTube. Instagram's there, they're great. Nothing wrong with Instagram. But there's not one place where all of the hunting and fishing community comes together, that you're in a friendly atmosphere, that you're like-minded people, where you condense all those videos, and you can choose what you want to watch, and you can put your own videos up there and show everybody what you're doing. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And that was the big thing that stuck out to me when I started checking out Camoflix is, there doesn't seem like there would be like a big intimidation factor for somebody who's new into it to put stuff up there, because what you guys are showing is it runs the gamut. You've got behind the scenes stuff. You've got guys just cutting up. You got guys that are hanging tree stands or clearing shooting lanes. Yeah. It isn't just short films about some massive buck that was dropped. It truly runs the gamut. You guys are putting it all out there. So it makes it easier, I think, for somebody to want to participate.
Well, it makes it easier. And after being on both sides of the camera, being a fan and watching it, but then also filming, there's something appealing about seeing someone who you respect, not from a celebrity standpoint, but from their talent at hunting, and seeing what they put into it. I mean, I put up videos all the time. I mean, you probably seen one of my videos on there where I'm sitting up in a tree and I'm basically just scanning the shooting lanes that I've put up. Well, I mean, that's not like wild and crazy entertainment, but somebody might learn something from that. Sure. I learned something from a video on there the other day, and I'm all about that. And so you get to know the personalities. You also get to see what kind of people they are. I mean, I just think it's an exciting venue for that type of stuff. But now, that being said, the idea of Camoflix is also that if you are somebody that maybe has a great deal of talent at filming things, and you have a great deal of talent of hunting, you can, for $24.99 on Camoflix, create a sponsor account, and you can put production on there. And if you start developing an audience, you all of a sudden have a TV show. And so there's no limitations to what you can do with the website.
And Barrett, I think a pretty cool thing about the site is that when we see these polished TV shows, they're set up to just be 21 minutes. With anything on this, you can add time, just like you're saying, some video about you with your shooting lanes, anybody can give the behind the scenes. When you watch something that's put on TV, it's definitely a cookie cutter. It needs to fit this amount of time. They don't have any extra that they can put up, but with Camoflix, you can. And I think it's a great asset to the background of hunting, to the work that's put in hunting, not just, okay, I go out, hop in my tree stand, out walks a 10-point buck, I shoot it, I go home, grip and grin photo, it's on the wall. You can add all of that.
More than just a trigger pull.
Yep.
Yeah, because, anybody that does it knows. You don't go out and sit in the woods, and every single time a 150 walks up, you make a perfect shot on it, it goes 50 yards and falls. I mean, it just doesn't happen that way. It doesn't happen that way for anyone.
Oh, well, that's too bad for you guys.
What's
I mean,
a
that's my
150?
regular season. Right?
Well, I realize that you Pennsylvania boys, you probably put them down like that every time, but us Kansas boys, we don't get that accomplished like you.
You mean every time an 85 walks out?
Just say, generally when I see a 150, I'm falling from the tree because I just fell asleep and was having a dream.
Yeah, it shows reality, and I think what it's going to do is it's going to show talent. And I think that there are 18-year-old kids out there that go out there and they film their hunts, and they're talented, they're good at what they do, and they take the time, and they're passionate about it. And when they display that, it's going to be recognized. And that's going to, of course, bring them reward, whether that's we've got a built-in software into the website where there's hashtags. You can do product hashtags, and as we build up sponsorship, one of the things is to try to connect sponsors with anyone. So you don't have to know someone to become I put quotation marks up, sponsored. You just have to produce a great video and showcase a product that you're a fan of in the video. And if you, get a certain following, then based on what the sign up with the vendors are, you'll get that product. And so we're going to have all kinds of things. We're going to have we're about to announce things that might blow people's mind, like, hunts with people that you want to hunt with. I mean, there's going to be some contests coming up that I think will really excite people. I mean, we're brand new.
Right.
Barrett, when did you start? When did you guys launch?
Launching a website's interesting because it's you launch and it's out there, but nobody knows it's out there except the people that launched it. So
Yeah.
I would say that we've actually been launched the day that Jace put the video up on Facebook, which has been, I think, 3 weeks ago. You could check it on Facebook to know exactly, but he put a video up there of him catfishing and basically announced that he was this was a new venture for him, and that would be the day I say it launched. But I was looking at our numbers. We had over 750,000 unique visits to the website in the last month, which is exceptional for something that's just been around for a month.
Sure.
Heck yeah, man. Get you some.
Now, some basics on the site. Do you need a login to view anything, or can you just enter the website just for everyone to know?
You can enter the website. Obviously we encourage you to make an account, but you can enter the website and you can look at videos if you choose. There's a free user, there is a pro user, and then there's a sponsor. And the pro is, I think, $9.99, and the sponsor is $24.99. The reason, a lot of people are not going to do anything with a paid membership, but a lot of people will, because the contests, like, potentially to hunt with Jace, I haven't completely confirmed that with him yet, so I don't want to put that out there that that's going to happen, but that's what we're working on.
That's good. I like how you just put the pressure on him, though. I like that.
Well, he's going to listen to this podcast, because the minute we're done, I'm going to send it to him, but he knows. We've talked about it, but but in order to be entered in those contests, you'll have to be part of that, or part of the paid part. But it's a small amount. You get all kinds of storage for it. You're going to be part of the community, and that's what we're trying to build. And we're trying to build a community that's gun friendly, hunter friendly, just America friendly.
Yeah. Amen.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that I really liked as you were saying it, but I sort of already had the background on it, what you guys are trying to do. You're really giving an opportunity. I don't want to just focus on like the young people coming into it, but you're giving an opportunity right here to anybody who is an quote unquote outsider in the industry, somebody who isn't already involved at some level with the hunting and or fishing industry. You're giving them a place to share their content, to basically build that following, and then where it goes from there is where they decide to take it. It's going to be up to them. If they want to keep pursuing it, they can go down this road and just eventually they're going to be the next Jimmy Houston, something like that.
That's right. If they're talented, it'll show, and then the rewards that come along with that are theirs, and that's the way it should be. I mean, it should. If people are interested in watching you, and you're interested in showing them what you do, then good for you, good for them. But now the other side of this is another part of Camoflix that is important for some people. I've got a buddy who's a huge bass fisherman in Louisiana. He loves to fish. He's a big tournament fisherman. He wasn't all fired up about putting all of his fishing videos on TV because he was convinced that people could see the trees and determine what hole he was in.
They can. I agree. They can. No.
Which I thought was really funny, and I kind of I got a chuckle out of it because I cannot fathom that. But like I said, I'm not a very good fisherman. Maybe that was my problem. And he makes his videos private, and the benefit of that is there's a button at the bottom when you upload a video that says, do you want this to be public or private? And you can make it private, and then you can send it to another buddy of yours, maybe your fishing buddy, and say, hey, this is where we're going to fish tomorrow. And it's just something that you can store for just yourself and come back and watch it at a later date. You don't have to make everything public.
So for the private videos, who can view those then? Just people that have the
just people
paid accounts?
Just people that you give the password to. So
Gotcha.
You have a password, and if you want to give your buddy the password, you can log in, type the password in, and you can watch the video.
Cool. So Barrett, let's talk a little bit about your filming. You've so obviously you're posting stuff onto Camoflix. Do you film yourself, or do you have somebody that films you? How does that work when you're doing it?
It's interesting because up until this point, I'm and I think this is probably one of the big hurdles of the website is that I'm so passionate about duck hunting. I mean, I am one of those guys. I will sit in the blind and I will try. I mean, my brother and our group, my dad and all them, they'll get in the blind and it drives them nuts. They'll look at me and they'll say, are we shooting today or are we observing? Because I don't want to shoot the ducks until they're either with their feet out hovering right above the water or till they've hit the water, because I view that as the accomplishment. And so I'm telling you all this because I'm so nutty about that the extra added bit of taking a camera and self-filming has been difficult for me. But, now I have got all kinds of different cameras I'm trying out. We're trying out, there's 3 or 4 different types of cameras, including GoPros, that we're trying out, and we're trying to get connected. We're also trying to get connected with the site. I don't know which one I like the best yet, but yeah. So I mean, I've got a camera that mounts to your gun. I have a camera that mounts to your head. I have a camera that mounts to the blind. I have a camera that's on the stabilizer of my bow that I'm really excited about elk hunting. And so I'm just basically doing that. And it's so simple now with the apps and everything involved. I mean, if you'll take the time to just look at the app, I mean, literally a couple of these cameras, it just took me 10 minutes. And they're ready to roll.
Hey, well, the last couple of years, my dad and I have been going to Texas for a three-day hunt on the coast for waterfowl, and we've been trying to self-film it. And it's amazing the things you pick up on how you're hunting. If you're calling a shot too early, if you're picking your head up while you're on your second shot, it's pretty neat. Like the benefit of we want to be able to capture that memory, but you can also
learn from it.
It's almost like looking at game film on after your Friday night high school football game. Sunday, you're looking at the game film. You got the same thing when you're doing this self-filming. And it's a neat aspect, an added aspect to the sport we're involved in.
That's so funny you brought that up, because some of the filming we've done, people will get fired up and say, "Oh yeah, I tripled or I doubled on there," this, that, or the other, and you're like, "Well, we're gonna get." And I have seen many times going back, and you put that film in the TV after you're done, and you can see clearly who was killing the ducks and who wasn't. You know what I mean?
This past time when we were in Texas, my dad shot a really nice pintail, and he swore that I shot it. Luckily, there was no film. Like I messed up the record button on that shot.
Oh, good for you.
Sure he did.
Yeah, but that was definitely his very nice pintail, his first pintail when we were down there, and it was definitely his. It wasn't just me calling it. But so I know what you mean on that. You can definitely see who shot it now.
Yeah, and you're exactly right. The one thing that I will find that I think the most difficult thing about waterfowl filming is being able to get tight on the bird. In other words, it's easy to film with a wide angle.
Zoom and shoot is impossible.
Yeah, I know.
It's not like archery hunting where you can zoom in and he can walk into the pan of the camera angle. No, everything has to be right when you're recording.
But that is what I have always felt. That is why I've always felt that Duck Commander crew was the best, because that's what they're talented at. And I mean, after
they're able to make that happen.
After dealing with their cameraman and seeing how they do that and all that, that's what kind of fires me up, because anybody can put a camera out there with a hugely wide angle and they can shoot ducks, but they look like little specks falling.
You almost need to highlight, they gray out the rest of the TV angle and just have a little spot of light, where the bird's flying and gets hit. It's sometimes tough.
It's very tough. And, I think what we did quite a bit last year was we would, when you'd have a day where you'd have, it was good and there were a lot of ducks flying. To us, it's more fun sometimes to if we have 4 guys in the blind, a lot of times we'll take 2 and they'll jump up and shoot a group. And then the other two will jump up and shoot a group. And we kind of laugh at each other and make fun of each other when they miss. And it kind of puts you in the spot. And then the other 2 that aren't hunting, they can film. There's all kinds of ways to make this happen. And I think that the creativity of people is really going to explode in the hunting world and the fishing world. I don't want to forget the fishing world. I mean, look, this is a fishing site too. I mean,
it's all really outdoors, right? I mean, if you're into axe throwing, or hatchet throwing, you can put it up there, right?
Hatchet throwing.
I love the tactical stuff too. I mean, I love seeing I'm not an overly tactical guy, but I like to shoot in the off season, and so I like seeing that too. You've seen one video on there where I draw and shoot our targets, and anything you're doing outdoors is great.
Cooking? We okay to put some cooking videos up there?
Absolutely love to put some cooking videos up there. And as a matter of fact, that's one of the pursuits that we're going after, is the wild game cooking community and some cooking channels, because that's interesting to me. I mean, if I kill a deer and I'm looking at other people killing a deer, and then then there's a video up there saying, "Hey, this is a great way to prepare a tenderloin." Well, that's great content, you know.
Sure exactly. We get into the same rut of how you prepare your steaks or your tenderloin from your venison. That, you know, it's nice to find something new, a different way to prepare it.
That's exactly right. Because I mean, there are ways out there that would probably blow all of our minds that we haven't ever thought of.
I still got to focus on getting them down first, boys.
Barrett, do you ever find that while you're filming that's distracting from the actual hunt?
You know, if I do, I have no problem putting it down. If I feel like it is, because I know exactly what you're asking, and I think about that all the time. And if it ever becomes a job, or if it ever becomes that I can't interact with the people, or I can't enjoy the experience, I just put it down. And that is another. I don't want to keep singing. I mean, I guess that's why I'm here, to sing the praises of Camoflix. But that's a great reason to be on a site like Camoflix, because you don't have any pressure. If you have a show on the Outdoor Channel or whatever channel, the Sportsman Channel, whatever, you have a great deal of pressure to produce it, and it's a job. Yeah. This is just for people who want to show what they do. And if you wake up one day and you're just enjoying it and you don't want to film, don't film. There's nobody holding a gun to your head. You know what I mean?
Or even if you do film, it's one of our taglines here at Rutten River, you know, the highs and the lows. Show us the misses. Show us those hunts that you literally screwed up because you had the camera in the tree or in the blind with you. You know, that's the kind of stuff that really, you know, gets me fired up to watch that. I have yet to really bite the bullet and try to film, only because of the fear of screwing it up. But I'd love to, because if I had a camera with me for some of the stuff I've seen go on in the Pennsylvania woods when I'm whitetail hunting,
you blew it.
There's a whole lot of that, but
without the camera,
I don't know if I'd have been able to film it though. I had a porcupine come down. It was in a pine tree right next to me. Couldn't have been more than 4 foot away from me. When I climbed up the tree, got settled in, just as light's starting to break, I hear this shh, and it is right there. I'm like, what is in this tree?
Bone chilling.
There's a baby chupacabra, and it's right there. And
your mind can go crazy at that time of night.
What I do, I watched it crawl down and just kept saying little prayers that it wouldn't jump on me and eat my face. That's what it did.
They do that a lot around here. I hear.
Face eaters.
Yeah.
That's what we call porcupines in Pennsylvania, just to let you know.
Yeah, I think we have some, but we don't have very many, because you don't see them like that.
Nobody really does. Just him.
That was the only one I've ever seen in the woods up there.
I've seen him in the woods, but I've never had him like in my tree.
But I was in big woods country in like north central Pennsylvania, and I don't even have trail camera pictures of them.
There's a distinct line in Pennsylvania where their population stops. It's like Route 81.
I've always said that.
Must be that tree stand.
You've never said that.
Anyway, Barrett, one of the things that we really do love to do, though, on the show is the idea of campfire stories, just sitting around. So one of the ones that I would be interested in is if you've got a memorable experience, maybe of something that got screwed up because the camera was with you, since we're on that topic.
Let me think about that. Well, I mean, look, I will tell you that when I don't know if you remember, but when right before Duck Dynasty, Benelli Presents did two seasons with Duck Commander. Do you all remember that show?
Yeah,
I do.
All right. Well, they came up and filmed in our woods, and when we were there, and I will never forget the first year they came. We were standing in flooded timber. We had no blind. We were just standing at the base of trees, and we counted, and there were 14 men in the woods, in these trees, filming this hunt.
That's a lot of guys to hide.
And I'm just looking around, and I'm thinking, this is not a duck hunt. This is a show. And but you know what? They were the most professional cameramen I have ever seen, and we did fine. They turned invisible. Yeah. And so I as far as a memory, that's not really a screw up, but I will tell you
it's
that
completely counterintuitive. Like, it shouldn't have worked.
Yeah.
It shouldn't have worked. I think they were talented, but I will tell you that the big joke is whenever you're filming and something doesn't go right, the ducks flare or whatever, it's always the cameraman's fault. I mean, that's the bottom line. He's not hidden. He's sticking out. I mean, he needs to move. I mean, I'm telling you, any cameraman that's listening to this podcast is going to know exactly what I'm talking about, because they are the most abused individuals in any filming of a hunt that I have ever seen, because it's always their fault.
It's a thankless job. I'm sure it is.
Nah, who else do you blame? I don't know.
Well, it's clearly not the caller's fault.
The guy eating a tasty cake in the corner. Yeah.
Our Uncle Buck popping his head up in and out of the blind.
Like a hungry hippo.
Yeah. By the way, which videotape did prove to me guilty as charged. Yes.
Yeah, buddy. That was very telling.
I learned something that day because of video.
You should put that on Camoflix. You bobbing in and out of a blind.
That'd be fantastic.
I think like him and Uncle Buck and another friend of ours were kind of like in sync, and they're just bobbing. These ducks are circling, and these guys their heads are popping up, and I think you could set that to like a Disturbed song. And just or a metal, some kind of metal music, and just like the way they're head banging.
You got that all on film?
Yeah, it's hilarious. If you never saw that, I can't believe it.
No. That's
I'll show you.
Barrett, I'm used to walking and shooting quail, and that's kind of how I fell in love with birds. And these guys taught me and introduced me to waterfowl, and I feel like I'm back in Southwest Missouri.
I tell you, they're both great. I mean, we debate all the time. I mean, the quail seem to be making a comeback this year, but nothing like it was in the 80s. I mean, in the 80s, it was just, they were everywhere. And we always have a debate on what it is. Is it habitat? Is it predators? Is all this? And I don't think anyone knows, but I will always have a place in my heart for quail hunting. I just don't get to do it much anymore.
Any chance there's going to be a quail commander coming out?
Not from me. My dad would be the quail commander, really? And he is not a big fan of the camera, so I doubt that he'll be all over. He'll be all over that. But the great. I'll tell you all a story. One time I was hunting Lake Proctor, and I wish that I had this on video, because it would definitely go viral. We were fishing Lake Proctor. Is really cold. It was iced up. In Texas, a lot of those rural roads have these steep embankments to get up onto the highway. So we had fished, not fished. We were in a bass boat, but we were duck hunting on a Friday morning or whatever. We should have been in class, but we were duck hunting on a Friday morning. And then we went back to Dallas, and then we came back Saturday morning, and the runners on the trailer of the bass boat, the fiberglass runners, it's got that fake carpet on it.
Yeah.
Or at least it used to. And they froze. Well, we couldn't put in on this ramp until 5 o'clock when the park opened. Well, we decided that we'd pull into a closed gas station across the street from it, and do like they do on TV and Bassmaster, where they get everything ready so that when we back it down the ramp, it just slides off into the water and we go.
Yeah.
So we get everything done, and we get it all unhooked, and we pulled out of that gas station up on that embankment, and the entire bass boat dumped out into the middle of the highway. in the middle of the night. I mean, it's probably 4:30 in the morning. The fiberglass bass boat is sitting on the highway. And fortunately, I was going back to Missouri, and I've always run a truck with a winch on the front of it. And so I was like, man, and I said, how about we try this? So I pull my truck up to the front of my buddy's truck, run the winch cable under his truck through the tongue of the trailer and hook onto the boat. And we literally pulled the boat up onto the trailer.
While it's in the middle of the highway.
That was actually brilliant. I was trying to figure out how you're going to do it, but that was brilliant.
Yeah, so, and it took us maybe 7 minutes.
What?
It was that quick. So then we're like, what are we going to do? We had a hole. We killed them the day before, and we knew that if we could just beat the other guys that were hunting close to us to that hole, we'd have another good hunt. So those boys are there, and we put in, and I mean, I don't recommend this. Don't try this at home. We were young and dumb, but that bass boat had holes in the fiberglass. And we ran across the lake wide open in this bass boat. I mean, it was, I don't know, 30 degrees. The water temperature was freezing cold. Ice was forming on us. We were all in waders and shotguns, dogs, bags everywhere. And that sump pump, or the bilge pump, just kept pumping the water out. We got there. We beat him through the hole, limited out, came back, and I think he had a big bass boat bill, a big repair bill.
I bet.
But could you imagine having that on video? And that's you can't make that happen. But now you have the capability with the phones, cameras, and all that. That if that happened again, you could put it on camera.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It's on.
Actually, Phil's got that boat now. I think we can make that happen. Right, Phil?
Yeah, but it's aluminum, though. It'd take a little bit more to put a hole in.
I'll smack it with a hammer.
We'll work on it.
But we'll have the JB weld with it.
We'll definitely, if we make it happen, we'll give you credit for the idea.
Creative recognition.
All right, well, Barrett, if you could take us back real quick into Missouri. You mentioned about your love for archery hunting. Now, Phil had his time talking to you about Missouri itself and all his quail hunting that he loves to do. I'm an archery guy at heart for me. What you mentioned whitetail and elk. So I guess my question to you would be, if you had the chance to whitetail hunt with your bow, elk hunt with your bow, or go duck hunting, what are you doing that day?
Wow. That's a really difficult question to answer. I'm not. Look, archery hunting. We all know archery hunting for whitetail. You're spending a lot of time in the stand for that one day, that one moment. But that moment is so intense that it makes it worth all that time you're spending. Duck hunting is completely different. You go out, you get set up, and
you can get a hot breakfast in the blind when duck hunting.
Yeah. I mean, you do all that, and there's many moments. It's social, it's all that. And if they're not flying, you just go home and try the next day. Whereas archery hunting, I'm always sitting there thinking, I'm the eternal optimist. That, he's coming. I know I picked the right stand. I know why I'm here. Elk hunting, to me, is probably the greatest rush on the planet, because it's you have a 700-pound animal screaming at the top of its lungs coming in to you. I mean, it's like a 700-pound turkey coming in that can smell.
That's exactly what I was just going to say, because I've never been elk hunting, but that's how I envision it. Like, I love turkey hunting, and as I hear people talk about elk hunting, I watch all the videos and stuff. It's like literally like what you just said, 700-pound turkey coming in.
Jacked up turkey.
Yeah, and there's no excitement like it. I mean, I've been blessed to shoot some decent whitetails, but an average elk coming in bugling gets me more nervous, more buck fever, more shakes than a really nice whitetail. You know what I mean? It just, there's something about it that it just fires you up, and it's so difficult. I mean, think about it. Most people hunt from a tree stand or a blind for whitetails. So you've got an opportunity to stay hidden. You can stay still. You see them coming before they see you. With elk, you're on the ground with them, and you're trying to get within whatever your effective range is. Mine's 50. I'm trying to get within 50 yards of an elk that his whole job is to not get killed. And it's just exciting. I love doing it. The problem is I don't live where elk live, so I get about 5-6 days maximum at this point in my life. I mean, at some point in my life, I really want to go out there and, just spend the month out there in September, but I'm just not at that point now. So one of these days.
Yeah.
I like it. And you can definitely hear, and this is something that I love about our podcast, is when we talk to these guys, you can hear it in Barrett's voice as he's telling that story. Like he is obsessed with this stuff. Like there's no denying that. That was just true passion right there as you were talking about it. That's great. Now, Barrett, I hate to do it, but we are actually running up on time here. If you could, again, real quick, tell everybody where they can find Camoflix.
Just Camoflix.com, Camoflix.com.
All right. And do you have a way to be contacted directly, or any way that people can follow you to see what's going on with your life?
Absolutely. Just sign in, and you can sign into a free account. You can just search for me. I'm there. You can hit follow me. Jace is there. Most of the Duck Commander crew's there. Duck Commander, Buck Commander, Fin Commander are there. We have a couple of other sponsors, Spit USA, and we have Sky Hunter Outfitters. We have a great business support plan, and so if you're a business and you want to use Camoflix to promote your business, whether that's an outfitting business or anything like that, we've got a great support plan that, you're going to get a personal call. We're going to help you promote your business on our site.
That's awesome. And actually, Barrett, I have to apologize. I've got another question, and this is sort of a hot topic. It's pop culture stuff that's going on in at least in my world that I see on Facebook from a day to day.
Stromboli or calzone?
Well, we got the whole Stromboli or calzone thing. We could do that some other day, because we're going to get Barrett back on again. But what I want to know, Barrett, were you there when Jace got his haircut and shaved?
No, I was not there. I was with the literally 1 million people who watched that live video on Facebook.
And were you as astonished? I mean, being a personal friend of Jason, you've known him for years. Were you as shocked as the rest of us when you got to see his cleanly shaven face?
It's funny because yes, I was shocked. I mean, shocked isn't the right word. I just like, oh, well, that's what he looks like. Because, I've seen him with a short beard. I've seen him with shorter hair, but I've never seen him shaven like that other than in the picture. And it was definitely shocking. But the funny thing about it is that I've had a huge beard, and then I'll shave. And I mean, I'm always different. Like in the Duck Commander videos, you'll look through them, and some of them I'll have this big beard. Some of them I won't have anything, and that's fine, because I've never really needed to be. I've never really wanted to be famous or anything like that, so it's fine, because you're not even going to recognize me in half the other one. One I'll be looking like this, one I'll be looking like this, and but with them it's all the same. And man, when he shaved that off, I was like, man, you could walk into Walmart and nobody would know who you were.
And since you did mention earlier that Jace was going to be listening, I just want to throw this out there. So I'm going rogue for a second there, boys. Jace was always my favorite on the show.
Really?
Yeah.
I like
as
Jace.
much as everybody loves Cy and all the other crazy stuff that Will does.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was a Jace guy. I was Team Jace all the way. Anyway, enough about that.
I like Jace.
Well, Barrett, we truly appreciate the time. and we've had a great time with you. Thank you so much for sticking in here with us, and we'll get you back on, see how things are going after the seasons are all over, see how you made out this year.
Sounds great. Looking forward to it. Just give me a call anytime.
All right, Barrett. Take care, bud.
Thanks, Barrett.
Thank you,
Thank
brother.
you.
See you, bud.
Thanks, Barrett.
See you later.
Well, guys, I wasn't kidding when I told you that was going to be a good one. That's some good stuff right there.
Seriously.
I
Yeah,
feel
man.
terrible, though.
Well,
I don't think that Phil got to talk about Missouri enough.
No,
Poor
no,
guy.
I
We didn't even
agree.
bring up Shell Knob.
Yeah.
2 words. Shell knob.
I think it's hyphenated, bud. That's just one word.
I wouldn't even know.
Will's got it. It was 2 words.
It's 1 word. Schnob. Schnob.
I like that take. That's good. Yeah. So, what about?
So you have nothing?
What's
You
going
got
on?
nothing to talk
He's
about?
keeping quiet.
I got some things to talk
Zipping
about,
it.
but I've been on, I've
You've been
signed
on the Missouri Cloud
I've
Nine for a while.
Yeah, and I've signed a contract not to talk about it anymore.
There's $1 every time you mention Missouri.
I'm going to get fined by the commissioner.
Yeah, just put $1 in the cup. It's like swear cup.
This is a Missouri Cup.
Well, I for one wanted to say I took last week's recording that we did where we actually offered a giveaway
Yeah.
to our listeners. I took some of the message from our giveaway video to heart. Like, we were literally 3 weeks away from opening day, statewide opening day, Pennsylvania archery season.
Pennsylvania.
Right.
Yeah.
Get that
And,
clear.
and statewide is the other point that I'm making, because some of y'all that
Get to
was
go
it
out.
TK, Tall
Yeah.
Kyle, that lives down in
Total
Southeast.
killer.
Total killer. He's got an opportunity well before I do to get out there, but
Maybe
it's still,
maybe Saturday?
maybe like 48 hours from now.
You might-
But it's still pretty close for me too.
Might
And
already have a
I
deer
gotta
down by the
get,
time this gets released.
I got to get cracking,
Yeah.
as it were.
Yeah.
I'm a little behind schedule.
Mo Kraken?
Mo cracking. So this past week for me was spent. I did a little bit of tree stand prep, just double checking
So
everything,
one?
making sure straps are still on. I got a couple.
Gotcha.
I mean, I'm not going to be giving you boys any lat longs or anything, but I got a couple.
Exactly.
That I was out
Right.
checking, changing memory cards and trail cameras. I got some irons in the fire going, and I got to shoot the bow a little bit this week, but really, it pales in comparison, I think, to the guy sitting to my left.
What's
Stevie.
that? Yeah, Stevie?
Yeah, Stevie.
Yeah.
Stone Cold Killer.
I'll just pass.
Bad boy
Stevie,
Because
podcast.
I
You-
don't want to.
Let me get this right.
Yeah.
You didn't kill anything last week.
How was fishing, bud?
I
You got out.
killed a snake in my basement, but that was it.
What happened?
There's a we have those little we have a bee problem at home. I'm gonna ramble here for a little bit. We have a bee problem at home. So the exterminator comes, he puts
Lord
these
help
little
us.
glue traps down anyways, all through the basement. I don't know what bees need glue traps for. Anyways,
The bees need.
Did he find your bee hole down there?
no. There was a tiny hole about the size of a pencil.
in the wall?
There's a door that leads outside.
Are they
No.
carpenter bees?
Oh, there's no bees.
You started
Well,
out
you
with
said
talking about
bee.
bees.
No.
So now we don't have bees.
No, there's
Thanks to
bees
that
out,
dude.
There's,
Or there
Thank goodness
is
the
a problem
exterminator
or
came.
a bee problem.
there is a bee. All right. So last year,
Is there an
you
A
guys-
problem
You
if there's
guys
a
are,
B problem?
You guys are forcing me to go into the details,
I'm not-
and you know where that leads.
Yeah.
It leads to excessive boredom and rambling.
Engineering talk.
Anyways, there was a snake in my basement stuck in a glue trap that I had to harvest.
Did it come through your bee hole?
There's no bees. There was
You definitely started that out with, I have a bee problem in my
Yeah.
basement.
no.
So is there
I don't know how you're gonna snake your way out of this.
I
one.
don't know how I'm gonna snake my way out of this one. Yeah.
Come on,
No,
Steve.
there's no more snakes in
What's
the
all the
basement.
buzz?
What's all the I love you guys.
So there's no bees.
No, there's no bees. No bees, Will. We're good.
Well, that's,
Where
I'm
did
glad we
all
got
the
that
bee
cleared
talk
up.
come from? Because
He started it. I don't know.
I was trying to explain. Yeah. I was trying to give a little backstory. and why there's glue traps in my basement.
Because of bees?
Because I have an exterminator come once a month to take care of the bee issue that we have outside. And
Why would he put traps on the inside if the bees are on the outside?
They're total foolproof, one-stop extermination service. They take care of everything. They guarantee you name it, they take care of it.
So the glue traps weren't necessarily for the bee.
Not at all.
Or the snakes.
Right. But so I had snakes in the glue trap. I had a toad in the glue trap. I've had salamander. My basement is literally like a glue trap for reptiles.
A glue trap aquarium.
Yeah.
Amphibious.
Yeah, reptiles and amphibious creatures. But no bees.
I'm glad we got to the bottom.
Goodness.
Yeah.
Satisfied now.
So that's what's new with me.
Moving on. Finally.
You brought that on yourself. I don't want to hear it.
Well, what do you got going on? Anything new with you?
I got the invite to
Again, 2 years in a row.
2 years in a row to
Nice.
come and to come out special regulations area.
Yeah.
And potentially harvest a deer.
You have the
I have a
big
feeling.
shoes to fill after last
We're
year.
going to see a shaky leg on
You
Saturday.
think so?
Yeah.
I hope
I'm
so.
calling it.
I hope so.
How far are you going to put that tree stand up this year?
Last year it was like I
was 6
couldn't get
foot.
above this knob, so it was just
Was that
above
Kyle's head?
just above Kyle's head.
Kyle had to duck, didn't he, to get under it?
But I still
It was effective, right?
Very effective.
Yeah,
Effective
That's all that
enough.
matters.
He went up exactly as high as he needed
as he
to.
needed to.
Extremely
I like it.
effective. But yeah,
So you're heading back,
I'm heading back.
trying for the
and,
repeat.
Yeah. Yep. It's
What are
good.
you shooting?
I got the
Doe, I guess.
Rutten
Right?
River Pursuits Hoyt Carbon Defiant. I'd say it's Rutten River Pursuits, but it's just black and orange everything. So I picked the colors and I took it.
That is a sharp looking bow. I'll tell you what. I picked it up. I've had the opportunity to draw back and fire a couple Carbon Defiant. They're just nice shooting bows.
Yeah.
I can't shoot them anymore though, so I don't want to buy one yet.
Yeah, well, that's the thing.
If I shoot another one, I'm
So
gonna want to buy it.
smooth,
It's just too nice.
Clean. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, everybody loves their bows, and we're just joking around. But that's the bow for me. So, David Kyle, why are you holding out, letting Stevie talk about bees and snakes?
You got the biggest news, man.
Well, I'm fortunate to live close to the Maryland line, and archery season came in, so I was able to pull the bow back,
Yeah,
And
Nice.
and I connected.
in an hour.
you are the first R2
I drew blood.
On
on
the
the board.
board.
on the board.
I'm on
Nice.
the board, so
Yeah.
I harvested a very nice doe. Very happy with it. Got some meat for the freezer. Nice blood trail, and I was even able to be back at work by lunchtime.
That's
so.
crazy.
That's the
you
best
were
part.
updating us the whole whole day.
Had her scun out and placed on ice and ready to go back to work.
Yeah, we got that. We got the old "Where have we seen this before?" photo of the arrow with all the little red bubbles
Yep.
on the back
That
of it.
never works for me. Like,
I didn't send that until I found her.
Oh, really? That was
I'll let out my tricks there.
So
I was
that's
like,
the
I'm not
secret.
sending this until I find her.
That's just-
It
I'm gonna
never
remember
works
that.
for me. It's scary. Yeah,
But
not until you find it.
I don't think I'll even take the picture of the arrow until I find it.
But I had a nice morning in Maryland. I hunt public land. I had an interesting morning. Like I said, I hunt public.
Besides harvesting the deer,
Besides, like before, I thought I wasn't going to see a single deer.
Turns out you were wrong.
Yeah.
oh ye of little
where-
faith.
Where I want to go hunt, I pass a couple different parking lots for public land, and every single parking lot was parked full of trucks.
Wow.
So I figured I was running late. I was completely screwed up on when I should have left my house.
And they were all PA plates too.
Oh, they were.
Yeah.
They
You
were.
know what you could do?
What?
Put out some bee traps.
Put out some bee traps,
Yeah,
try
they
to catch a
just-
snake.
They would just get stuck, and they couldn't get to their stand.
What's
Bite my tongue.
Snakes drive trucks down there.
oh?
It's crazy.
I
know
know
it.
you guys.
But I got to the parking lot I wanted to go to on this public land, and there was one truck there, and I hiked back the hiking trail, and I saw a headlamp that was 200 yards away and moving the opposite direction that I wanted to go. So I was like, this is perfect. I know where he's at. And, I get my climber up, and I set it up and start climbing up the tree. I'm 90% set up in my tree, and there's a headlamp coming from the direction that guy was at.
Oh, no.
And it's getting closer. It's getting closer to shooting light.
It's
getting closer. So I'm shining my headlamp back at him.
Shining back at him, right?
I whistle at him. You can see... all of a sudden, you heard clink, 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 and he's putting his tree stand back together, and he hikes back out the hiking trail. So I didn't see him, luckily, and really, he was in a really thick spot. I feel bad for the guy. I think he was a little mixed up in the dark.
He got turned around.
He was in some very thick stuff. So I was worried I wasn't going to see anything. That's a notorious bedding ground for some deer in that area. And but luckily, I saw 5 come through. I saw some nice yearlings playing around. And this nice doe came in. I was able to draw back when she was behind a tree. She stepped out.
Yeah, buddy.
Whack.
Good for you.
It was a nice way to start the season. Very happy.
Congratulations.
How far did she go?
Oh, she went about 150 yards.
Whoa. That's a tracking.
Yeah, I was a little nervous at first, but then picked up a really nice blood trail, so couldn't complain.
Nice.
Congratulations, bud. That's
Thank
awesome.
you.
Get you some.
Well, this has been a crazy show.
Yeah. You can't end on a better note than that.
Yeah.
So we shouldn't even try. Boys.
I'm not going to try.
All right. Well,
I'd love to hear more about these bees.
The bee problem that catches
There's
snakes.
no bee problem.
The bee problem of 2017.
I still don't know what the A problem is.
He's got a problem.
oh, he's got
I don't
several.
have a problem anymore. That's why I call an exterminator.
I'll tell you what there, Glue Boy. Why don't you tell everybody where they can find us?
They can find us at www.ruttenriverpursuits.com or on Facebook at Rutten River Pursuits Podcast. Find us on Instagram and Twitter at R2 Pursuits, and download the podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play Music, and Castbox. And last but not least, keep an eye out for the next giveaway, because it's a big one.
Amen. And don't forget to get on over to Camoflix.
We're giving away a Stromboli.
We're giving away a Stromboli.
Or a calzone.
Oh,
Is it the one I just ate?
well, it's
Except the
something
end.
else.
You blew it.
Yeah. All right. Check out Camoflix. Give those guys a look. CAMOFLIX.com. Later.
See ya.
Peace.
Thanks for listening to the Rut and River Pursuits podcast. Follow the R2 Pro staff by searching Rut and River Pursuits on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Until the next episode, we need to see you in the outdoors.